All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Billions, behind the scenes of $1 billion real estate brokerage. And we are excited to share some ideas about what we've been through, where we're going, and how we're doing as you grow your business, your team, and your brokerage. And I'm one of your hosts, Jeff Beggins. And next to me is my brother,
Craig Beggins, right here. Welcome. We're part of the Anywhere Real Estate Group, which is formerly known as Realogy, which owns C21 Coldwell Banker, ERA, Better Home to Gardens, Sotheby's Real Estate. They're all under one big brand. And so we all compete with each other. And Century 21 is almost like the favored child, because we're in 90 different countries around the world. And so they post Florida rankings, and our company is number one in Florida. We have the number one office in Florida. We're the number one office in the Southeast U.S. We're the number 12 company in the United States of America. And we just got ranked in the Global 21, which is 14,000 Century 21 companies in the world. And we ranked number 20 in the Global 21. So pretty nice accomplishment after 30 plus years. Number 20 in the world.
not that we are competitive at all, but
No.
but we have 19 more to go, which is kind of fun. But you know what? You know what's fun about that is, and we always tell the agents, we tell ourselves that the ranking isn't always the goal. It kind of goes along with your work ethic, right? So we have the desire to build a huge, we don't have the desire to build a huge company. We have the desire to build a really cool, fun company with people that are doing really well, right? And just kind of bringing our whole tribe together. And as a result of that, we're going to do a lot of transactions. And as a result of that, we'll probably do more transactions than other people, and our rankings will continue to grow as we go. So it really wasn't, we set out to do $1 billion a year in business and to be in Global 21, even though it's, it's nice, but it's, I don't know. I'm proud of our group, man. It's a big deal.
I'm super proud. I was on a mastermind the other night, and people were talking about real estate agents and how a lot of them are slimy and sleazy. And I just had to stop them right there. I said, no, that doesn't work. Our culture doesn't allow that. Slimy, sleazy people would come here if we didn't know it, and they would just slither away because they would not fit in. Right. So that's the culture. It's the big part of it. The culture is more important than anything else.
Culture. I was talking to an agent another broker actually was sending me direct messages about the post about a number 20 in the world, and congratulations and all, and from a different brand. And I said, thanks. I said, we're super stoked. We're super proud. And all we're doing is, how are you guys doing it? I said, it's real simple. We're just attracting and repelling our way to across the country. And that's really what it's about. I was talking with a new agent of ours, a GG number 2, right? That works with our company over here. It's funny, same name as another one agent that we have.
Yeah.
I don't think
that confused me for a minute.
Yeah. But the same thing, we're like, you've got to you completely just be you, right? It is what it is. I mean, authenticity is what it is. And where people, and I talked with my son this morning on the way to school, he's 7, right? And I said, the number one thing you can be is just you. And we started talking about attract and repel, and how, but you can't attract unless you're something real. Because if not, then you're fake and there's nothing to attract to at that level. So you have to be you, and you're naturally going to repel, and you're naturally going to attract, but only if you're sincere and you're authentic and you're really, really you, right? And so that's the whole point, because you don't want them to give into the peer pressure saying, well, Joe's pretty cool, I want to be like Joe. You can't be like Joe. Joe's Joe, right? You got to be like you. And that's the same thing that we have the conversation with our agents across the board. And from a company perspective, we are what we are. We say what we say it how we say it, we look how we look, we act how we act, and it's just real and raw. And I think that in order to really grow, you have to take that close to heart.
Yeah, if not, you're tap dancing all the hard things you want to say. Like we're telling our agents right now, you got to talk to people, and here's what to say. And a lot of people don't have that clarity, which is the segue, I guess, to number 2.
Yeah, one of the biggest challenges that everybody faces. Now, you guys are trying to grow your real estate business, you're growing your real estate team, you're growing a real estate company. In order to do that, you have to have a following of people that follow you as a leader, because you're instilling something. Like our main mantra is BE3, empower, educate, encourage, right? Those are the 3 cornerstones that we do as a company. Everything we do is to make sure that we empower agents, educate, and encourage them to be the best they can be.
And our customers too, by the way.
and our customers. So talk about the mastermind we're doing right now, and the challenge that we're having now is we focus on four things. And Mike, let's see, you can chime in this one. We have clarity, focus, action, and accountability. Right? These are the four things that we really focus on, and you can't have number 2, 3, or 4 unless you really drive through number 1.
I agree with everything you said, but I want to add one point to that. After, we've hired, I don't know, 3,000 or 4,000 agents over 30 years, probably, maybe more. And what's the one number when they interview them? How much do they want to make a year?
$100,000.
$100,000. So across the board, I want to make, Mike, you do more interviewing now than any of us. I want to make $100,000, right? What does the average real estate agent make? I think nationally it's $35,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's $35,000. So there's a big dichotomy there. And then, so to your point, why do you want to earn $100,000? What are you going to do with it? And they don't know, but they have these big dreams. They see the TV shows on real estate, and the $1 million listing agent, flies around on private jets and does all that cool shit. But the average real estate agent doesn't make enough money to charter a jet for one trip, right? So they've got misleading expectations from the beginning. So what I found, I think, became effective is if they're coming from a job making less than $100,000 a year and they want to aspire to make $100,000 a year, when most of the industry doesn't, their thinking's not right. So we came up with, I watched something that said, it was the guru, financial guru, Dave Ramsey, said, look, number one, do you have 6 months worth of cash savings in the bank? And it was shocking how many people don't have that. So how do you dream about flying around on private jets when you don't have some cash in the bank if something bad happened to your family, right? So that brought clarity to me. Do you have that? And then a bunch of hands went up. So yes, I do. And that's like, wow, that makes us feel good because they didn't have that when they started with us. Well, that's why I think the empower, educate, encourage is so important there. Because what's going to happen is once we get them from A, having 6 months worth of savings, to B, having all their bad debt taken care of, then they've learned, holy cow, I can really make an impact on my own life doing what I'm doing. And if I want to make more, I just have to do more. So I think it's a training process we're taking them through that I'm excited to see what happens at the end of this quarter and then next quarter. Because what a cool place to work if you came here with some problems and all of a sudden you've got some savings and all of a sudden your college debt's gone and your credit card debt's gone. And then you make extra money and now you've proven you can make money. And then you start stacking it up to do whatever puts a big ass smile on your face, whether it's a trip or it's a car or it's a boat or it's whatever. And then you've taught yourself that it's up to you. Because most people came from other jobs where you don't have the opportunity to make $50,000 in a month, right? I mean, our top agent last month made over $150,000 in a month. That's pretty cool.
Pretty good.
Right? That doesn't happen often, not every month by any stretch of the imagination, but you can't do that if you're working for Hewlett Packard.
What's interesting to me is, we spend a lot of time talking about comfort zones with our agents, right? So,
yep.
And vibrations and energy and law of attraction, all the weird stuff, right? But it makes sense because we like to think about ourselves kind of as an enlightened real estate company where we just do kind of fun stuff, all to put a big ass smile on our faces. So one of the big things is the XY vibration, right? And I think one of the things that we've learned over the years is everyone tries to get people excited about the cars and the trips and the Hawaii vacations and all those things, but it's a complete fraudulent approach because your comfort zone, if you got to get into comfort, you've got to get your basic needs fully met, or else you're not going to feel good at all. So when people come in, you want to make $100,000, that sounds good, but reality, you need to make sure you have $7,000 a month coming in to feed your family and pay your bills, right? So it's not about going to Hawaii; it's about getting sure that you're covered. And then to your point, as we push and say, all right, if it's $7,000 a month, we better get $42,000 in the bank before we even talk about going online to check out a Hawaii flight, right? Don't even think about it because you're going to short circuit your brain and you're going to feel like a fraud and you're going to discredit yourself and you're going to sabotage yourself because it's not even, there's no alignment in that thinking. So what we've learned over the years, which will hopefully save you as our viewers watching this one, is get back to the basics of chipping away, right? So step one, the foundation, like Craig's talking about, it's got to get that 6 months, and then don't buy anything yet. You got to chip away on your debt, because there's nothing like, we've all had it, guys. We go up and down. We've had great times, terrible times. We've been wiped out. We've made a bunch of money, right? All kinds of stuff, right? It's just called life, and we know which one we like better. So now it's about making sure that when tougher times come, we have all the savings around, so you don't have to stress as much. And nobody likes losing money, but it's part of life cycles, right? So we need to be prepared. But it's just about that. Then it's your debt. So once you pay off your debts and you have savings, what a feeling, right? What a feeling. And that's everything we're after, is feelings, to figure out, a feeling of comfort, or just, stress free, whatever it may be for you. That's really the whole goal. And then it's about having fun. It's like that old hierarchy of needs, right? You got to just satisfy all of your basic survival needs, and your food and your safety and security, and then get rid of the debt, so you actually feel good. And then it's about, now, what's my next level in life? I would like to have a bigger house, nicer
Self-actualization.
right? But now I could start thinking about that next house. Now I could start thinking about a pool. Maybe I could start thinking about a really cool pool. Maybe I could think about a trip, right? Maybe I could think about, then we start going, okay, that's not smart. Don't go save out $100,000 to go buy a car, right? Let's save up $100,000 to go buy a duplex that spins off enough money to pay for the cars, right? And that's kind of where we go on the next level with the agents. Is first, once we get the 6 months, once we get the debts free, now it's about stacking up cash, to go buy that second and first investment property, and then making that make some money. And then we're putting we're trading hours for dollars with our jobs, right? That's what we do. We put in the time, and we get paid as a result of our time that we put in, and that brings us money. The ultimate goal is to stop trading time for money, right? The ultimate goal is to trade money for money. So our goal is to make enough money so we can put that money to work, so that money makes us money. And then as that happens, the need to do hours for dollars diminishes. Now we do it. We love doing it, right? We're in a position where we really don't have to do this right now, but we enjoy doing this so much because we have next levels that we're aspiring to go to as well. So we are still trading hours for dollars, because those dollars are going to be built up, and we're going to take those dollars and deploy it back into the business and back into investments, so that both will grow, that will spit off money to fund the lifestyles that put big ass smiles on our faces at each next level as we go. We got a long ride ahead, and there's going to be a million different next levels, but it's all goes back to us too. We get into debt, we got to pay off the debt before we can go buy some other stuff, right? So that's the challenge from the broker level, the owner level, the coach level, of trying to get the agents inspired to go do something, right? That and chip away at all three of these levels, so they can get to the self-actualization level. And then you're actually changing real lives. You're making real differences in people's lives, and that feels really good. Right? I mean, how cool is it? Right? A couple of examples that you've seen over the years of agents totally changing their lives from when they came originally to where they are now. A couple of examples about that.
The first agent I hired 29 or 30 years ago was a part-time accountant, and she wanted to make enough money to buy her daughter a car. Her husband was a pilot, so he made decent money. And over those 29 years, I don't know the number, but it's probably $15 million she's made. And I talked to her the other day. She's still been with us for 28 years, right? She owns 15 waterfront houses. They're free and clear. She's coming to close out her retirement, right? She's making $2,500 a month times 15 houses. Add that up. The coolest thing she's doing is October, she's taking a cruise around the world for 9 months.
So awesome.
9 months. And it's a six-figure ticket.
Oh, yeah.
That's changing lives, right? And I didn't do it for her. She did it all. We went to exposures. We wanted to do $1 million in a year out of one office. Now, if we don't do $2 million a month, I get pissed.
And we're just talking, that's just component one, guys, right? That's the clarity. And like I said, this is the most challenging thing that we deal with right now, is helping the agents get clarity on their next level lifestyle. And whether that's paying off debt or stacking cash or savings, either one's fine. And then, only then, can we actually do work, right? Then it's focused on something. But if you don't have something that you're clear about going to go get, there's no reason to focus because there's nothing to go get. You just kind of be. And that's what most people do. They just be until they die, right? Because there's no focus on in clarity what they want. So then we focus on an activity, and that's based on the self-awareness of their personality styles, their skill sets, and where they want to grow their business. Is it listing focused? Is it buyer focused? Is it FSBOs? Is it expireds? Is it absentee owners? Is it buyers? Is it open houses? Is it farming? Is it neighbors? Is it social media? Is it marketing? Is it networking? There's a million different ways to go get business, but we can't even focus them on anything until their clarity is there. And then it's about the action. I was talking to the agent yesterday. She's saying she's getting clear. She got a couple little kids. She's got focus and an income that she needs to bring in. So there's clarity and the debt she needs to pay off. And then there's focus. She wanted to do expireds and absentees, and because she's here, right, I'm going to force that on her. And then it's the action. And then we started talking. She's having problems that she's getting hung up on, right, when she's talking to some of these expireds. And then we started talking about the actions that she's taken and the fact that she really hasn't watched any of the trainings and been involved. She's new to us, right? She's had another brokerage for a while. And the whole concept of attract and repel and visual auditory kinesthetic and the ISC personality profiles and mirror and matching and NLP and just connecting with them, meeting them at their level was blowing her mind, right? She's a very high S personality, SI, and she's having a hard time dialing up that D when the appropriate time happens, depending on the person that she's talking to. But only now is she able to receive the information about what actions to take, right? And there's a reason to perfect her skills with the actions that she's taking, because now she has an area that she's focusing in on because she has something that she's clear about as far as a goal, right? So too many people say, hey, sign up for my coaching. Let's go do this, right? And they try to just run into actions. And no wonder most people fail in the business because they just start taking action with no focus and no clarity. There's no way they're ever going to win, right? Your brain will physically sabotage yourself and it'll kick you out of the business. There's no way it's going to work. And then what are you going to do? Hold somebody accountable that has no focus or clarity or goals? I mean, what's the point? And that's why this industry is so messed up, because you got a lot of people that try to hold people accountable that have no clarity and focus, and they're taking actions that they don't have skill towards, right? And it's tough to have the reason to get the skills to take the action unless you have the clarity, and that will force you into focus, right?
Yep, they get $350 a month.
What's that?
They get $350 a month for every coaching client.
That's right. That's right.
Or more.
That's right.
Charge anything.
So interesting thing about this industry right now and the times that we're in right now, post-pandemic, right? Pandemic, who would have thought that was the boom that it would have been a couple of years ago, right? It's unbelievable. So some people did very well. Some people wiped themselves out during it, right? That's an interesting mind shift and a whole different conversation we can have. But the facts are that the peak of pandemic, Craig, how many sales were happening? 2021. What was the number of transactions?
6.2 million.
6.2 million. And what's projected this year in 23?
The lowest I've seen is 4.4 to 4.6.
So anyway, it's 2 million fewer sales.
Yep.
That's a big number. That's a big number, right? So 2 million is what percent of 6, right?
A third.
It's a third. A third fewer transactions are going to happen in this country.
And you're going to plan to grow your brokerage? How are you going to do that?
Yeah, when you're heading into the headwinds of a 30% decrease, and most people are justifying, well, we're going to be down this year, but the market's down 30%, so as long as we can just be 30% or so, we're at market. And that's okay for a lot of people, but not for us, right? We're not going to participate in any recessions that are coming because we're thinking a little bit differently. So what are we doing, Craig? We've got to create a market. We have to create more transactions, because if we just rely on the normal market, we're going to be down 30%. Just because that's the way the marketplace is right now. So what are some of the things that we're doing to help create more markets?
Well, I think it's important to recognize it's empower, educate, and encourage, right? And you said earlier we're doing that for our agents. I said no, we're doing it for our customers too, right? The average person, we're in Florida, right, has doubled their property value, if not more, in the last 3 years. So what does that mean they have? Equity.
Equity, baby.
Right? And that equity is, I call it dead soldiers. You got dead soldiers sitting in your house that are not doing anything for you, right? And what do we need more of? inventory,
Yes.
right? Either for sale or for rent. So if you're a person like Joe over here, he bought his house for 300 grand in 2015. Now it's worth 650 grand. He put $80,000 down when he bought it. So he's got $300,000 in equity easy sitting there. They can go to the bank and get a home equity line of credit, right? And then he can use that. I took a whole class on this, by the way, for weeks. He could take that home equity line of credit, use 80,000 of it, and go buy another $300,000 house, right? And work with a good real estate agent and find a house that will, and a property manager, by the way, buy a house that will rent for more than the mortgage payment, right? My favorite story, and it's a long and short, but Robert Kiyosaki is an author. He wrote the book that Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he's a real estate investor. And the best lesson I ever got from him was he wanted to buy a Ferrari. And his wife, Kim, he was afraid to tell her, I want to buy a Ferrari. We're doing well. I got all these properties. And she said, what are you going to buy to pay for it? And the answer was, well, I guess I can go buy a 6-unit apartment complex and throw off $2,500 a month, and that'll make my Ferrari payment. So this way he acquired an asset to give him cash flow to buy his toys in that story. So we have all these customers out there that have all this equity, these dead soldiers that are not deployed, but they could go deploy them and have an asset that throws off cash flow. And if we empowered, educated, and encouraged them to do that, what would happen? We'd build a new market.
That's right.
And I got to tell you, I really believe it's this. I'm not saying every house should be bought as a rental or a short-term rental or a fix and flip, but there are certainly houses out there that fit that bill because we're selling them every day, right? And people don't realize, or they're scared because they don't have equity, because they think the market's going to blow up and crash like it did in 2008. That ain't going to happen. Every economic summit that I've been to, and I go to a lot, says there's nothing in alignment with what happened in 2008. 2008 was very simply free money to people who didn't qualify with variable rate interest rates or negative amortization rates. We don't have any of that. If somebody bought a house after the crash, they had income, they qualified, they had credit, they had all that stuff. So we're not going to see that crash. So people need to get out of their head with that problem and then say, okay, I'll take a little risk. I'm going to get a $300,000 line of it, $80,000 down, see how it works. And they get a little cash flow, they make $1,000 a month. And that feels pretty good. And they still have 240 grand left on their line of credit, right? So let the house pay off the line of credit, put another 80 grand down, and pretty soon, you've got a couple investment properties throwing off a couple $1,000s a month, and pretty much those houses are paying for your house. How cool is that? That's how you build wealth. So what we're doing, basically, long story short, is we're building a new market by teaching the agents how to get the equity teaching the agents how to teach the customers to get the equity out of their houses and give them ideas on what to do with it.
To go buy smart properties. Right. Mm-hmm. And then also, we also are creating investment opportunities for our agents and for our customers on that one.
Yes.
So we do a lot of new construction. We do a lot of resort buildings. We've got offices all over the place. One of the markets where I physically live is the Gulf Beaches over in Tampa Bay area, and Madeira Beach specifically. In that marketplace, I've gotten very deep into the market, and we've got a bunch of projects going. We're about to launch a really 167 room condo hotel resort, which is going to be game changing for the whole region, and it's going to get a lot of attention. So we actually offered our agents to be able to buy into with us at the developer level to actually own the entire resort, a piece of the entire resort. And then they're about to have the opportunity to buy pre-construction, some of these units that are going to be pre-construction pricing with assignability, with the ability to have the opportunity to assign it once the project's sold out. But it's thinking outside the box, right? The other things that we're thinking about next level, I just got off the phone with my friend Alex. We're talking about how we're going to structure some investments through NFTs, right? And also how we're going to leverage our international friends, right? We've got, you went over, did the speech and the keynote in China, right? C21 China conference. I went over, did the one over in Germany. And now Global 21, we've got a lot of pull in these Canadians and Canadians. So that's the things we constantly do is look for ways to keep growing because we still have a next level in our mind, right? And it goes back to the same thing. It's clarity. If we don't have clarity, why are we going to, there's nothing for us new to come up with because there's nowhere we're trying to get to on that one. That doesn't make any sense for us. So we have to lead by example by continuing to do this. As the agents, we constantly have to do new inventory. I was back and forth. This is an interesting side note, but important. Like, we're constantly looking for new projects. Craig, you know, one that we're doing right around the corner, we put under contract. It's a huge property. I could argue that our hands were full. But another one came up yesterday that this out of the blue that we couldn't say no to because we have addiction problems, I guess, to dirt. But there's another one. Turned out that there was it was an old bank piece of property that we really, really wanted for years. We've been eyeing it forever. And it just unfortunately happened at the time where we didn't want it to happen, but we could not let it go. So it starts going in. I get with the agent. We're going back and forth on this one. And there's 4 bidders. There was 12 originally, and 8 walked out. It's down to 4. So I'm saying, who else is this, right? Who else? Who's in this game right now? Because we take partners in the projects that we do. And long story short, I figured out who the main bidder was, right? And I called him. I said, what are you doing? Do you want to join forces here? Because we're about to bid ourselves up and where it's not going to make a lot of sense for either of us. So do you want to call a truce and you want to figure it out? You want to partner on this, right? And then so we made an agreement via text, and we kind of handshake via text on the whole thing and said, we're going to do this deal, and I'll back out of the bid. You win the bid, and then here's how we're going to split the deal going forward. Because he wants to invest, we want to develop and sell, and we want to invest. So we formed a 50-50 alliance, and we both won the deal. We just found out about 20 minutes ago, right? So there's going to be another probably 50 units there that we can get as well. So, I mean, but why are we doing this? Because there's still next levels. There was very easy to let that go, right? But we can't, because it's about cash flow, a certain number of dollars that gets us excited. Right. So, and this is just something that will provide long-term cash flow in order to make it work. Right. So we lead by example with clarity, focus, taking action, and we have accountability to ourselves to get involved there. So those are the type of things that we do. So we, as a brokerage, look for opportunities to create inventory, to create new markets. So our agents have the opportunity to sell things that other agents don't have. And we also keep them off market. So we have the exclusive listings on these things to take the first crack at all of our projects. Our agents get to sell first before any other competitor gets a shot. So that's good for recruiting, that's good for retention, and that's good for production, right? And it's good for everybody because we've got phenomenal agents that we teach really well. So those are some of the out of the box things that we're doing that you watching there looking to grow your brokerage, your team, or your business, you could start thinking about doing the same things.
And back to the clarity, it helps the agents too, because number one, we get them comfortable with cash, so they're not desperate, they're not scared. 2, they get rid of their bad debt. 3, they start stacking cash to do what with? And a lot of them are aspiring to get a piece of the condo hotel project, or aspiring to get a piece of this one, or a piece of that one. And some of them are forming LLCs together and joining in just to split deals.
That's right.
Right? To get different equity positions, because these are cash flowing properties.
That's right.
So it's kind of fun. It's a mutually beneficial ecosystem.
That's right. So it's really fun. So last topic for today is competition. And this is an important one. And I think this is a huge, huge, huge lesson. And it's who really is our competition? Right, Puma, let's talk about this for a second, because who is it? Like, what are we competing against? And there's haters. And there's people that don't like what we're doing. And they don't think right. But here's the thing. You cannot even let them into your radar because they're completely irrelevant to your life. Completely. Well, like 100% irrelevant. Like, give them no credit at all, because you have your clear vision, you have your path, and you have your conviction. If people don't like the direction you're going, screw them. Right?
Bye.
They don't have any say on what my clarity and focus and vision is. I don't care what they think about it because I'm not living their life. Right? And that's one thing we really push through for the agents too, is someone say, oh, why are you doing too much stuff on video? Where are you doing? You're posting too much. You're posting too much of your family. Where are you in a bikini? All the other chatter, screw them, right? You be you. Go with your vision. And if it screws up, pivot, do something else, but have fun, get some clarity and focus and keep going, right? That's the message. And it's tough, especially in the world that we're in right now. That's so predicated on likes and response and interaction and feedback. It's difficult, but it goes back to clarity, guys. You got to have a vision of where we're going. we're building the coolest real estate company ever. We will be across the country. We'll have 21,000 awesome agents, right? Just point, fact, it's coming, right? And we're going to enjoy the journey. We're going to, we're going to pivot along the way, I'm sure. But we'll get there. Why? Because it's fun. And then we don't want 200,000. We want 21,000 cool ones, right? 100 in each little 21 markets. It's a real simple business plan. It's our business plan. If you don't like our business plan, I don't care, right? That business plan is going to do really well for our visions and fund our lifestyles very well. And we're going to do it with our one vision. We're going to do it with our one voice. We're going to do it with our one systems, with our one brand. And we're going to do something that's never been done before. And we think it's going to work. Might not, right? But we're going to have a good time on the journey along the way, and pivot enough so we still win, whatever that definition of winning looks like for us, is us, not you. So I guess final takeaways on this. We had a lot of good topics today. What's yours, Craig?
I think you summarized it's be you, right? You're not going to be us. I mean, none of this stuff we talked about is easy. This is years and years and years of implementation. Jeff, I mean, you've been involved with the city of Madeira Beach for 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
Going to board meetings and going to all this stuff and meeting all the developers and knowing who's going what and doing this and financing arrangements and just being the voice of knowledge. So none of this it's not meant to be easy, right? There's no overnight successes.
No, but I had the conviction, the desire to be doing what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. How many nights did you spend at City Hall listening to boring people bitch about,
and the arrows that we take nonstop, right? I mean, I had to bulletproof my car driving down there. So, yeah, be you, be focused, and have fun, and lighten up a little bit, guys. This is a fun business. All we have to do is talk with people and treat them well. And if you're not have enough business, then you need to talk to more people. There's really no other answer. Puma, parting words. All right. Well, thanks for watching. We hope we did a little empowerment, a little education, a little encouragement for you on your journey. And take what you want, don't what you don't. And as always, we're always willing to help. So reach out to us and enjoy your journey and have fun watching ours. And we're going to be sharing our successes and failures and stumbles and joys and tears and laughter along the way. So thanks for following our journey, guys. We appreciate you.
Till next week.
Yep.